This video is a tutorial on installing Odoo 19 on Ubuntu using Docker. To follow this tutorial, make sure you have already installed Docker on your system. If not, read the official instructions on the Docker website before proceeding. After installing Docker, create a directory named Odoo. Switch to this directory and create a new file named compose.yml. This file contains instructions for Docker to start different services. There are multiple configuration parameters, and we will explore these as we set up our two services, Odoo and Postgres. Postgres is required by Odoo for database management. Let's start writing the compose file. I'm using Vim, but you can use any other text editor you are comfortable with. We need to configure Postgres in Odoo. For Postgres, I will use the latest version, which is 18. I will specify environment variables to create a demo user with a strong password and initialize it with a database named Postgres. Do not use any other name for the initial database. Otherwise, Odoo will throw an error saying that the empty database is not initialized. In such a case, you will have to execute an additional command to initialize the database for Odoo. Let's configure the Odoo service. I will use the latest image version, which is 19. I will mention that Odoo depends on Postgres so that the database is ready before starting Odoo. I will set environment variables required for Odoo to connect with Postgres and make Odoo accessible on port 8069. I will also use bind mounts for data persistence. This makes it easier to back up and migrate data to a different machine. As per the documentation of Postgres 18, data is stored at var/lib/PostgreSQL inside the container. Note that for older versions of Postgres, the data directory may be different. Similarly, I will link Odoo containers data, which is stored at var/lib/odoo, to a folder named file store inside odoo_data. I will also bind mount the Odoo add-ons. Finally, I will configure both Postgres and Odoo to restart automatically in case they stop for some reason. If you want to reuse this compose file, you can download it using the link provided in the description. To start Odoo and Postgres using Docker, open a terminal in the current working directory and execute the command docker compose up-d. This will automatically download images from Docker Hub and start all services. Let's try accessing Odoo on localhost 8069. The browser throws an error indicating some of the services haven't initialized properly. Let's debug this by reading logs for different containers using the command docker logs container name. For Postgres, the logs show that the service is working properly. For Odoo, the logs contain permissions error caused by incorrect ownership and permission for the bind mounts. To rectify this, first identify the user ID and group ID of the Odoo container using the command docker exec-it odoo id. Next, check the user ID and the group ID of the folder odoo_data using the command ls-ld. You will notice that this user and group ID is different from those of Odoo container. To remove the permission error, I will change the ownership of the folder using the command sudo chown-R100:101 odoo_data. Here, 100 and 101 correspond to the user ID and group ID of the Odoo container. I also need to set up correct write permissions for Odoo to update the content of this folder. To achieve this, I will execute the command chmod-R755 odoo_data. Let's go back to the browser and refresh the page. It works. I can now set up a master password, database name, and other user credentials. If you would like to include demo data for different apps, you can also click on the checkbox at the bottom. After completing the setup, the browser automatically redirects to the Odoo's dashboard. In case you get logged out, you will be required to enter your login credentials, so do memorize them. That's all for now.